man. You know what time it is. It's a Money Pot show. Let's go. Week 11, NFL. Let's get this money. Holla at your boy.
Oh my God!
Embarrassed!
You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the MoneyPot Podcast. I am your guy. I am your host. I am your friendly neighborhood tapper, Moss Money. I got Diddy on the way. Yeah, my screen was kind of tilted, man. Like, I had to fix that shit real quick. I couldn't even. I'm like, why am I? My head is like this, trying to make it straight. But anyway, welcome to the show. It is NFL Week 11, and we got some plays for you ready to go. Intro's cool. I like the intro. It's perfectly where Frank goes off and snaps out. I was on that show too, by the way, but when he flips out, it's the best part. It's the best part of the intro, man. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Let's get right to you know the format. You know what we do. We go right into the sports book, FanDuel, and then we get these plays just chumming out, just chum out plays each and every game. We're gonna start off with our sponsors first for Fan Up. Best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily contests, and more. Make sure you drop the code A2D Radio to get in Fan Up. I think you get like $50 or $25 or something really nice for a promotion where we're halfway in the season, we're still in the promotion area. So that's always a good look, man. But let's take this down. Let's get into the games. Let's bring up FanDuel and let's get into our first game. But what we're going to do here is we're going to switch it up just a tad. We're going to go with the where's my poll question? Here we go. We're going to go with the poll question. Agree to disagree. The Eagles will cover the 6.5 spread against the Indianapolis Colts. Agree to disagree. Hey, we're on everything. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Let us know what's popping with the Eagles going over the spread at -6.5. And we're going to start off with that game. We're going to get you some player props. We're going to start you off with that game. Let me add my screen and let's get it going. Let's get it moving. I was looking at some games already. I was looking at this bullshit game, Chicago and Atlanta. But let's bring up the Philadelphia Eagles here. Now, we already know what everybody's talking about with Johnathan Taylor, right? Johnathan Taylor is going to go off. We obviously shored up our defensive line. That doesn't mean that they're going to obviously be on the snap count, right? Maybe 20 snaps here, 15 snaps here. So we'll see how that plays. The biggest bet that I see in this game that a lot of people are on right now is obviously Taylor. Taylor to go over 100 yards is plus money. Let me see where he's at. He's right here. So right now, Johnathan Taylor over 100 yards is plus 162. I do not think he gets 100 yards today. I think they're going to force feed him. I think Deion Johnson from the Colts is going to be playing. Last week, Taylor got 94% of the carries. So with Matt Ryan back, Saturday, all that stuff coming to play, perfect storm for them to get a win their coach coming off a high, right? They're coming off a high and then running into a pissed off defense on the Philadelphia Eagles side of the ball. They want to make a statement here. They're going to want to make a statement here, and I'm going to completely agree to this poll. I think the Eagles do cover. I like the Eagles at -6.5. I think that it should be higher, right? The Eagles haven't really given up a lot of points to a lot of teams. Obviously, they just gave up 32 to Washington, all for 3 turnovers, right? 3 turnovers we had in that game and some ref bullshit. But when you think about this Eagles team and this way this defense is playing really good and lights out, and they just haven't even put it all together yet. So, and we're facing some injuries, some adversity for the first time, like the running game. So they know they're going to run the ball. I like the Eagles here to cover the spread. So I would like this in a teaser. I would like this in a 10-point teaser. I don't think the Eagles lose to the Colts today. But my player prop of the day in this game, since Matt Ryan's been back, the person who's benefited the most is this guy, Paris Campbell. Love this play. I absolutely love this play. His over is way too low. In 3 games that Paris Campbell has had with Matt Ryan, he's had, I think, 7 catches, 10 catches and 7 catches, all for 60, 70, 80 yards, and he scored in all three starts for Matt Ryan out of the last 5 games. 2 of those games, remember, Sam Essinger played. He kind of disappeared. But when Matt Ryan comes, Matt Ryan's going to Paris Campbell. I'm telling you, this is a great play here, over 41.5. And if you want to get a little cute with it, we can go to his alternate total. For him just to get 50 yards is plus 140. Absolutely love these plays. Gotta love plus money with plus 140. I understand it's going to be a heavy dose of Taylor, but with this total at 45.5, we're looking at the team totals here. I like the under here for the Colts as well. Yeah, I think the defense shows up today. I really do. I think our defense really shows up and makes a statement. Makes a statement game here. The Colts are not a good team. We acted like the Colts are coming back because they started Matt Ryan and Taylor went off. It's just a bad matchup and it's a bad spot for the Colts. The Colts are coming off a high. We're coming off a low. It's not going to be really good for the Colts today. I really do expect the Eagles to take care of business and win probably by double digits here today. But I like the Colts total here under. If you look at the last about 4 or 5 games, there's only been like 3 teams and out of the last 9 have scored over 20 points against the Eagles. Washington, the first game of the year with Detroit, and help me out, y'all. Who was that third game? Y'all know who that third game was? Let me see real quick. So schedule. Washington Jaguars. The Jaguars scored 21, right? They scored 21. So when you look at that, it's not a lot of teams, not a lot of offenses that can score. The Vikings only scored 7 points. The first game against the Commanders scored 8 points. The Cardinals scored 17. The Cowboys scored 17. The Steelers scored 13. The Texans scored 17. I don't have any faith that the Colts are going to score 21 points on us. A lot of field goals. A lot of field goals. So I like these plays right here. Love this Campbell play right here. I think this is too low. It's more probably should be like 59.5, maybe even 57.5. Give me Campbell over the 50 yards here. We'll take this out. I like the plus money. They be watching me, dog. They be watching me. Every time I put a good play up here, that joint drops. Jesus, minus plus 130, man. I gotta lock this in, man. Give me a sec, y'all, because they not gonna get me. I'm gonna get my money. Best believe that. Let's lock this in. All right. We'll go to the next game. Let me know, like I said in the chat, man. Agree to disagree on the poll question. Do you think the Eagles will cover the 6.5 spread? All right. Next game. We're going to go to the Chicago Bears traveling to Atlanta. Atlanta is now favorite minus 2.5. This line dropped. This was at 3. Looks like late money coming on Chicago. Total is 48.5. I got no play here. 2 bum teams. Chicago's coming on really, really strong. You know, the play here is just going to be Fields over his rushing. I mean, he's at 70 yards rushing, which is so high. Yeah, I don't know if I could take that or not. You know it's coming. But the problem with Atlanta's been, they haven't been really good against the run at all this year. So, it's hard not to take this. Fields can get this in one run, a big 40, 50-yard run. His attempts will be up, though. What's his attempts? See, damn, 11. Look at this. A quarterback has 11.5 attempts rushing the ball. That's so high. I don't think that's a good line. He'll be right there, though, at about 10 or 11 attempts. So he's got an average, think of it, he's got an average 7 yards a pop. So the one play I do like in here, though, that I would take is Cole. Cole scored 5 touchdowns in 3 games. He's been on a tear. They found how to use like Fields in terms of his running ability. So if they fake some runs, some RPOs, it makes sense that Cole would be the beneficiary of that. Mooney hasn't really showed up too much. Neither has Chase Claypool, who had like 2 catches. So give me a little bit of Cole action, man. Give me Cole over his 30 yards. I think that's a really good bet. He should get this pretty handily. He's been the main target haul, and he's been a touchdown machine with Fields. the last couple games. Let's keep this train moving, man. Let's keep this train moving. Hey, Jamie, Tomo, what's up, bro? Agree, absolutely, baby. We in here. We are going to cover the spread for sure. They just get a bad. It's a bad matchup with them, man. It really is. Like everybody's betting on Taylor to go off, and I'm just not. I think they're going to take this one personally. I really do. I think the defense is going to take this one personally. I don't know if they're going to be able to just run all over us all of a sudden when we know it's coming. I think the Eagles have shown ways how to adjust. Gannon, not so much. In-game adjustments, not so much. But Sirianni, from one game to the next, I would agree Sirianni is going to make sure that they don't get run on. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We'll definitely see how that plays out when that rotation comes. All right, next game. We got the Detroit Lions going to New York. New York is favored -3. Total is 45.5. So I was looking at this game and I was trying to get a side of where we want to go here. And I wrote some notes down about this game that I think are legit and looking at. I do like New York in this game. I think Detroit is still trying to find a way, but it's just that Detroit gives up a lot of points. Here's my notes. They have allowed over 32% of all opponent drives are allowed of touchdown. So that means a third of the time they're allowing touchdowns. So they just give up a lot of points, and this total is really low, and that's just because of what they have from an offensive standpoint from Jones. But I think Jones actually has a good game. I think a good prop to look at here is his rushing prop, if you can find it. Oh, here it is, total rushing. I think the 36 is a little low for Jones. Let's look at some of his pass rushes real quick right here. All right, here we go. So it's not a good trend. 24, 20, 107, 6, 37, 68, 79. And that's because this last game, I think against Houston, they ran Saquon down, man. It was like 33 carries or 34 carries or whatever Barkley had last game. So he's had 35, 20, 24. He's been on a tear. He scored a touchdown in 4 out of the last 5. So you got to expect Barkley to continue to have some success on the ground, especially against a very bad Detroit Lions defense. And just the fact they've allowed so many touchdowns, I think that it makes sense for Jones to get a little loose here from from a uh, from a rushing standpoint. I mean, Mariota got off a little bit here. Jalen Hurts had 90 yards. Wentz had 23. Geno Smith had 49. Even Aaron Rodgers had 40 yards against this Lions defense. So this is a little bit shaky, boss, a little bit shaky. But I do like the over for total rushes for Daniel Jones at 36.5. I think this is a decent play, especially coming off Barkley coming off such a heavy usage from running. I doubt he gets 28 to 30, even touches again this game. I see Daniel Jones having some success against the air. So yeah, give me Daniel Jones, man. A little bit not on the top tier play, but I like Daniel Jones here to get rushing yards just over the trend of what we've seen from the New York Giants giving up rushes to athletic quarterbacks. Another play I like here as well is, and I forgot, I like the Giants too, by the way. They're going to be in my teasers. Get them +4, get them as a home dog in a 2-team teaser, a 7-team teaser, 2-team teaser. The Giants and the Eagles. Eagles to win outright and the Giants up +7. That is a play. Let me make sure you write that down so I have that in here. G-Man, Philly. 2-team teaser. Lock that in. All right, from a receiving yards, the man who's been getting just everything is St. Brown. Um, you can't really like he's just I'm trying to look at his usage from let me see if I can bring it up. Like 10, he had 11 targets. He is 40% of the team target share, which is insane. And he plays out of the slot. And if you look at the slot that New York has faced, CeeDee Lamb, Randall Cobb, Christian Kirk, all went for over 80 yards. I like Amon St. Brown here on his over yardage because it's not like Williams is going to be running the ball all crazy, and then they don't know what to do with Swift because I don't know what they're doing with Swift. So once again, a little bit on the caution side. If you don't want to bet this play, if you just like New York, take New York. But I do like St. Brown here to get over his prop of 80 yards. Let me bring him up real quick. He's got 110 against Chicago on the road splits. He had 116 against Washington. He's only had 3 touchdowns. See, the spot is good for St. Brown, but do we trust Jared Goff and St. Brown? That's the question against this somewhat okay defense. Reynolds is out. You know what? Let's take this off. We're just going to go with the one play. We're just going to go with the Daniel Jones over total rushing yards so far, and a 2-team teaser with the Giants and the Eagles. You can lock that in for me. All right, next game. It's just Dookie games everywhere. Dookie games everywhere. Eagles -6.5 is a stone cold lock today. Man, we got to get away from that lock, right? We got to get away from that lock. But I agree with you. I do agree with the poll. It is a strong play for the Eagles to win by a touchdown. A very strong play. They're getting too much respect to the Colts right now, and I don't know why. They better put some respect on the they better put some respect on the Eagles' name, man. They're still an 8-1 team. I completely agree with you, bro. Completely agree with you. All right, so we got the Commanders and Houston Texans. The Commanders traveling to Houston. Commanders are favorite -3. Totals 41 and a half. So this play is specifically just talking about rushing yards. The Texans are putrid. They're terrible against the run. So you can expect a lot of Brian Robinson. You can expect a lot of Gibson in your DFS plays. They're going to be a little bit touchdown dependent. Robinson hasn't had that, breakout game. He had a pretty good game against us, but he just haven't had that breakout game, and they're still in a timeshare. So, and it just still looks like Gibson is working. So looking at this, I like Gibson's over 42 and a half yards. Robinson looks good, but he's going to be a usage type, and I like Gibson's. What's Gibson's? They don't have him. I like Gibson's 42 and a half yards against a putrid off defense. They are the worst defense rushing defense in the league by far. So give me Gibson over 42 and a half. And if you want something for like a parlay that you're building, a little touchdown prompt, I think Gibson scores today as well. 2-1 sounds pretty good to me. Plus 185, especially with Heineke back. McLaurin's been easy wide receiver one territory, so that makes a lot of sense. But I'm going with the weakness of this defense. I like Gibson here to get over his rushing prompts, and I do like Gibson to score here as well. So we might do a anytime touchdown parlay. I might tee up one later today. But from a player prop standpoint, give me Gibson over his rushing. I'm not betting the side here. I would lean Washington, obviously. Texans going to wake up sooner or later, I think. I mean, they've lost like 7 in a row. So they haven't had a win since like September. So sooner or later, they're going to wake up and have a good game. Commanders coming off, obviously, beating us in a huge one. Easy letdown spot here, I would see. Could be, I guess, a trap game against two bad teams. I think the line is right, and I think the line is a Houston line. It's not a Washington line at all. This should be more like -4 for how bad the Texans are. So be careful if you're taking the Commanders just because how bad Houston is. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston wins this game. Like it wouldn't shock me if they kind of all of a sudden woke up and the Commanders came back down. I don't know if Chase Young is playing in this game, but that's something to monitor. All right, next game. The Jets, Jets. traveling to Belichick and New England Patriots minus 3.5. Total is 38.5. I have no play on this one. Stevenson sounds like the best way to go on this side. That's the only person you can trust in this offense. Both bad receiving, both bad quarterback play here. Both tough defenses. You can see that in the total. I would tease this, and if I had this actually, I do have a play on this on my 10-point teaser that we typically do on my total side. We're going to tease this up to 48.5. These teams don't score 50 points. It's going to be a running type style. New York blitzes. New York likes to blitz. Not is it Wilson? What's his fucking name? Yeah, it is Wilson. Zach Wilson a lot, and he hasn't fared well against New England in New England. Let me see. I think I had a stat on this one as well. Something to look at. Oh, the Jets are 4-0 against the spread. I did write that down. The Jets are 4-0 against the spread on the road. They've covered every game against the road, which is pretty telling. But I still think it's going to be hard sledding for either team to score on each other. I like this to go under. They played already this year, didn't they? What was that score? And that score was 22-17. Right at there at 39. That makes a lot of sense to me that, even though the Jets are coming off a bye, it still makes a lot of sense to me that this total stays the same. So I would tease this up. I don't even think they've scored over 50 points at all. The Dolphins game when they beat the bullshit out of the Dolphins. Oh, and then the Browns game, they had a crazy outburst. But other than that, I'll take the trend. I'm going under, teasing this up to 48.5. One of my legs in my totals. Don, what's up, baby? What's going on, man? We still working. You see us, right? Still working. Still getting plays. All right, let's keep this thing moving, man. Another Dookie game, man. It's a lot of bad football teams in the NFL, right? A lot of shitty teams in the NFL right now. We got the Los Angeles Rams traveling New Orleans. New Orleans is favored -2.5. Total is 39.5. I believe Stafford is playing, but without Cooper Kupp, I don't want no parts to the Rams. None. No parts of the Rams. The Saints are bad too. They're still sticking with Andy Dalton. As a fan and as an Eagles fan, I want the Rams to win. Right? Give me that top 5, top 3 pick. Right? Come on, LA. I want the Rams to win in this game. It is a Rams line too. I see a lot of people backing the Saints here. Makes sense without Cooper Kupp. I just don't know how this offense is going to work without Kupp. McVay will find a way, I guess, but I just don't know what to even look here. Let me see. Let me see what notes I had on this one. I mean, it's just two bad teams, man. Like just two bad teams. I don't have any notes here. Just the turnovers, the point margin, the spread. Like the Rams are 2-6-1 against the spread, and then the Saints are 3-7 against the spread. So you have two of the worst teams against the spread. So who are you going to take? Neither. Next. We running through it, man. We running through these games. All right. We have the Carolina Panthers traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore's favorite -13. Total is 41.5. So with this game, another Baker Mayfield game. And I was a Baker fan, man, but he's just completely fell off. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the hook here. Ravens should roll here coming off a bye. Mark Andrews, I believe, is coming back. So he would probably be part of my touchdown. Um, same goal, touchdown parlay. Parlay I'll do at the end of the show. So make sure you guys stick with me. I'll give you guys that parlay. But other than that, you can only trust Lamar here. And I still like his rushing over 60 and a half yards. I think that's too low. Um, it's the only one you can trust here. Drake, I think, is way too high at 65. Unless Edwards is out. Let me see. Anybody know, is Edwards out? Did he get a? I have Drake too. I know Lamar's been hurt too. And D-Jack, obviously hamstring injury. No, I think he's playing. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Gus Edwards is playing, but you know, Lamar's averaged like 70 yards rushing a game. I know he's sick, but he's had 42, I mean, sorry, 42, 89, 43, 59, 77, 59, coming close on 10 carries. But Lamar's not going to sit back and just throw the ball for like 30 yards. Lamar at 80%, I still take it. He's going to play, even though he's sick, just the way he is. I would tee him up for 60 yards, and then I do like Andrews and a anytime touchdown score here coming back. I don't think what's his rushing attempts? Yeah, I'm still not touching that at 9.5, even though that makes kind of much. It makes sense. I still like, he could have a 30-yard run easily. With 41 and a half, I would probably tease this up too to over to fit under 51 and a half. I just don't see how Carolina really gets off and scores here. This defense has kind of been coming on a little bit especially coming off a bye too. What's their total points? Yeah, 13 and a half. We got 26. Even at 30, 14. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Hello,
Diddy.
buddy.
What's up, bro?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Just
Disappointed.
giving plays. Just giving plays, brother. Just giving plays. That's
Yeah?
what we
What
do.
you got so far?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Always working. Yeah, always working, baby. That's what we do, man. You already know, Don Don. Do you think DJ won't have any impact in this game? Nah, I don't. I don't. Like he had an outburst of a couple games. But if you put money on it, I wouldn't trust him. I just can't trust him right now. Um, to do anything from an offensive standpoint. It doesn't make sense for him to it just doesn't make sense to put any money on that stock. It's just like you're just thinking like somebody's got to do something over there, right? And it's not even worth it because he could just disappear. And coming in with the Ravens coming off a bye, just not a good call. It's not a good place to put your money. Um, but like I said, even though Lamar's sick or we know he has an illness, I still trust him to get over his rushing problems. A lot of bad games this week, bro. A lot of bad games. The top play for me this week is Campbell over 50 yards. Paris Campbell for the Colts. What He's his number one target when Matt Ryan plays. In the 3 games out of the 5 games that Matt Ryan played, he had 7, 10, and 7 catches respectively, all over 60 yards. I started the show. This shit was 140, bro. Yo, we be kind of be joking, bro. I really think they be watching, dog. Like I really do. I really do. I think they be watching. But I do like the Eagles today. I think it's a bad spot for the Colts. That line looks like a Colts line with 6.5, but I think I like the Eagles in a 2-team teaser. I'd pair them with the G-men for the Eagles to win and the G-men +4. But I do like the Eagles to win outright. I don't think that we're all thinking this script is Taylor is going to go wild, and I just don't. I think they're coming off their coach's first win when there was doubters in that building for Jeff Saturday. He got his first win. He went back to the veteran who has been on the pine for the last 2 weeks, and then they went back to running the ball, right, with Taylor coming off an injury. And everybody delivered on all 3 phases. Now, do we think that's going to happen again against the best team in the league, arguably best one or two teams in the league who count who you talk to in the league, and a team that knows that they're going to run the ball, and I think a pissed off defense as well. Nah, man, that ain't a good look. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's
it's not it's not a
it is
good
a
look
tough
for them.
spot. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I think Eagles coming off a loss. We revamped our D line, added two big time, big heavy set players, Ndamukong Suh and Joseph. That should help our interior. I know their first weekend here, but all we're asking to do is punch and squeeze and clog the hole, force
Hmm.
Johnathan Taylor to bounce and get to our linebackers to shed blocks and get to the edge. I think as long as Rich Gannon doesn't do no dumb stuff and try to figure out how to drop Namde Sue into the coverage, then I think we'd be straight. Um, so yeah, I think it's a
Uh,
tough spot for the Colts right here. I do like the Eagles here. The points of 6.5 just seems a little bit high, only because the Colts can kind of control the tempo with their run game a little bit. If they have to catch up, then maybe not. But I don't know. As far as a 6.5, I definitely would stay away. I definitely like them in teasers though to get them to a win for sure.
yeah, and I like their team. I like the Colts team total under too as well. They're at 19 and a half.
Hmm.
I think that's too high. If we're looking back at the Eagles' history here, there's only been three teams that have scored over 20 points on them. It was the first game, which was Detroit, and then it was the Jaguars who only scored 21, and then it was last week. And last week we all saw this game, right? We don't need to replay it. Three turnovers, offensive. I mean, facing the refs as well, and they got 32. So I don't trust this. I think the Colts are getting too much respect in this. The Colts are not a good team, like they're not, and we're looking at them like they are because they can run the ball, and that's supposedly a weakness to us, but I don't think
Wait,
so.
you say you think the Colts are getting too much respect?
I think so. I think the Eagles should be favored almost 8.5. Like I think this line should be over a touchdown. To say that this is a touchdown game
Well, I mean,
for my
they're
8-1 team who's dominated pretty much everybody they faced except for last game, I don't know about
I
that.
don't think you can. I don't think you can expose that line. I don't think Vegas can expose that line that much. Being that Eagles are going away, you're not even adding into that away factor. This is really a 10 point line. This is pretty much saying Philadelphia Eagles -10.
If this was in
If
Philly,
if
this
this
should
was in
probably be
Philly,
like
it
it'd
would
be
be
like
12,
12.
13.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
exactly.
maybe 12, 13.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. There's 3 points missing there, right?
Well,
Because if it was home per the 3 point advantage, and even if we give them four because it's the link, right? We give it 10 and a half. I think it should. We just said we think it should be 12, almost 13 at home. So that tells me that this line is under, and it looks like a Colts line. And I think that we should. I think this line should really be like at least like almost 8.5.
mm,
I don't. I think the line's low. That's just me, the way I'm reading it. But
then you don't need to tease them.
no, yeah, I don't think you do. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I don't think you
I
do
mean,
need to tease them.
that's what you're saying. I don't know
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. No, that's it. That is that. Yeah,
I need to
you.
see. I need to see how the Philadelphia Eagles respond. I can't lay 6.5 points here. They may blow them out. And
Yeah.
good for them. 'Cause I'm an Eagles fan, but I won't lay 6.5 away on a semi short week. Adding new pieces to the D line, I'm okay with that. I'll just tease it down. So that's where I'm at with the Philadelphia Eagles game.
So the games we did was Chicago Bears, Atlanta, New York, and Detroit, Washington. It's just a lot of bad teams, bro. Like look at all these games that are just bad.
Hmm.
Um, the Rams. I don't know if you have any sides in any of these games. Just real quick, I like Cole Komet over his receiving yards at 29. I think that's really low for the way that Fields and them have been playing against a bad Atlanta defense. So, and he scored 5 times in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So he's obviously looking for him. Mooney's kind of fell off. Chase Claypool hasn't really been anything of a factor. He had 2 targets last week, so I think that's pretty low for him. This is a little bit kind of a reach here, but looking back at Detroit, the teams they face Hurts, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers. All these guys had over 40 rushing yards. So Jones being a little bit more athletic than what people give him credit for, I think he can get loose. They gave Saquon the ball 33, 34 times last game. I don't see that happening again from that usage standpoint. even though Detroit's rushing defense is bad. I see Jones getting a little scramble ability here. He's known to have a good run, in terms of a long run, maybe a 20, 25-yard long run. Even, we've seen him have 50, 60-yard runs. So a little bit on, how they say a Nick Ken, a little bit shaky, boss. A little bit shaky, boss,
Mhm.
if you don't want to test it. But I like the total rushing over for Jones here. I think it's a little bit of a nugget that you might not find or might not play. And I obviously like in a two-team teaser, Eagles and G-Men. I like getting the plus points on the G-Men here. They're only -3. I think they should win outright too. Um, and then a lot of people gonna be on Robinson. I'm going the other way with Gibson. Texans have the worst rushing defense in the league, so it's gonna be no secret what the Commanders are going to do here. Um, I like Gibson over his 42. I think that's too low for someone who time shares and actually is the natural better runner from what we can see than Robinson. Robinson's just a volume type guy. He's going to need 20 carries to get like 80, 90 yards from what we've seen. They don't need to do that with Gibson. I think Gibson, I like Gibson here, and I like Gibson to score too. He scored more touchdowns. And then we were just talking about Carolina, Baltimore. Even though Lamar's sick, I still like it over his rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean for the Atlanta game, Atlanta Chicago, I like to throw them in a 3-point teaser, add that total over, get them over 38.
Yeah, that's a good play. Yeah.
Um, it's in a dome. We've seen the way Chicago's been moving up and down the field these last few weeks.
Yep.
Atlanta, they stalled against the Carolina Panthers, but I think that was just a unique situation. It was rainy that day. It seemed like Mariota didn't even want to be out there. I don't know. It was kind of weird watching Atlanta play against Carolina, but them coming off a bye, right? After that Carolina game.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think they'll be ready to go. Probably be heavy on a run.
Yeah.
Might want to look at Patterson or Fields' rushing yards in this game, especially inside the dome. But I like to get that tease down to over 40 to over 38. Carolina game, Baltimore. This will be most likely in teasers. I just don't really trust these 13-point favorites for some reason in the NFL. I feel like every time there's been a 13-point favorite, it's almost been outright loss to the favorite team. And you can look at that history. It'll be really pretty remarkable seeing those big favors losing outright. Almost like I want to put a small ticket on the Carolina Panthers money line.
Really?
Kind of crazy, but although I would just bounce that on the teaser with Baltimore just to protect it. But I'd like to see what that money line is for Carolina. I don't
Plus
think they'll win
490.
plus 490. I just feel like if you look at the history of big spreads, it hasn't gone into that heavy favorites
That's very true.
side.
Very true.
Especially when it's 13 points. It's like 13 points is like I know last year we spoke about this. It was like every time it was a 13-point spread, it was an
Yeah.
upset.
Oh, it was outright loss. Yep.
Yep. So I've seen that trend over here this year too. So just be wary of
I
that.
yeah, I can't bet.
I,
I just can't bet that.
yeah, I would tease Baltimore down to win. I think them coming off a bye makes a big difference. It is a little chilly out here. Um, I think with Lamar Jackson having that illness, whatever's going around, he should be okay. Um,
Hmm.
but don't forget Carolina's coming off a bye too, or
Yeah.
a long little
I think is Baltimore coming off a bye? I think Baltimore's coming off a bye.
Baltimore's coming off a bye. Yeah.
Yeah, Baltimore's coming off a bye. Yeah. All right, so let's
You
go.
talked about what Houston, Washington? Did you say?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
actually
like
think this. I think Houston could win this game. I really do.
hmm
I think the spot is bad for the Commanders, and the line's telling me. I think it's more of a Houston line because they're going to run the ball, right? And then Heineke is what is he 3-1? I think since he's taken over. Um, and I just think that Houston's really bad, but they've lost 7 games, 8 games in a row. They're going to have to show up sooner or later here. And I think this is not a bad spot for them to show up. Washington's coming off that big win. They were celebrating like they won the goddamn Super Bowl. Heineke was on McAfee's show. He's wearing chains. He's getting interviews and shit. It's like what we talk? Like, is Washington good all of a sudden?
Right.
Washington's legit all of a sudden, and it's gonna be a lot of money on Washington here. So it wouldn't surprise me if Houston keeps this game close and even sneaks out a win.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I kind of agree with you. Probably a stay away from me. I would look at some props here. Look at the running props for both Pearson. You had said Gibson. I like.
I like Gibson's rushing. It's just, I just think he's the better runner of the
Yeah,
two.
I would go over in the not Allen Robinson in the Robinson's carries. If it's low, if it's under about 10, 12, I think it should be around there. I would go over there. So I think
Fourteen
Houston's
and a
going to do the
half.
same thing. This will be probably low scoring, or be one of those backdoor gets a little loose later on in the game. Maybe first half under. I think they both try to fill that run game out. I think Washington feel like they can run the ball after last week, so they'll come into it
For
this week
sure.
with the same mentality. And same for Houston, with obviously their best player being Pierce, handing the ball off there and them being healthy. So I don't know about the side here. I would probably look at lean on first half under. So it should be about 20, 20 and a half.
20.
Um, so that's perfect. I guess 3 touchdowns. We're not looking at it on that standpoint. So that's where I'll be my play and look at some of the total carries uh for Robinson.
Or we just might not play the motherfucker. How about
Or that too.
that? Right?
Yep.
We just leave it alone. All right. You got anything? I did the Jets and the Patriots and the Rams and the Saints. Nothing really coming out of that. I did take the. I teased up in the 3 point, 3 point, 3 team 10 point teaser. I teased us up to 48 and a half, taking the under on the Jets Patriots game.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna
Yeah,
put that under 48?
yeah, under 48. Yeah, both running
Yeah.
teams. Um, the Jets, we already know what they've done from a secondary standpoint with Sauce Gardner kind of leading the way. Matt Jones is nobody to be excited about, and he's a game manager and he's not. They're not going to be able to throw on this Jets team. So I see a lot of Stevenson and a lot of Stevenson out of the backfield, and the same with the Jets. The Jets are not the same without Hall there, and it's all about defense for the New York Jets at this moment. I think what was it I said? I got to look back at my notes, but the New England blitzes Wilson about 35 to 40% of the time, from what we know, from what I've seen. But the thing is, the Jets have been outright against the spread. Only team on the road who 4-0 against the spread, including the San Diego Chargers, on the road against the spread. So I would lean the Jets just because their defense is more stout, and I think this offense is going to sputter. But I see old school game, 24-17 type game. I don't see anybody scoring more than 24 points in this game.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. I like that. I like the tease that. Add that to that 3 team tease under. I think it will be a low scoring game. It'll be pretty cold up there in New England. The wind might be a factor also. So that might affect the kicking game. So more fourth down, possibly turnovers. Um, Both defenses are pretty stout. I would also look at Matthew Judon to record a sack here. I think he's been
Ah,
pretty efficient. I think
hey,
he
look
leads the
at you!
league
Look,
in
look at
sacks.
you! Look at you finding ways to get wins.
Yeah,
Yes, juicy
got
though.
to.
Juicy though. Minus 148.
Yeah, I mean that's because he's a sack leader right now, I believe. So
What does he got?
um,
Like 11, 10 or 11 sacks?
he's up there.
Yeah.
Those two DNs are running off the edge pretty good. I think Wilson probably have a little bit of trouble, so that might be a little value there. 140, I don't think that's too bad for that. I think that'll definitely happen.
All right. Next game. When you came on, we were at the Rams and the Saints, but obviously nothing to say here. I think, in my opinion, um, Stafford is playing. No Cooper Cup. I don't want no parts. I thought about teasing this up to 49 and a half because I just don't see how these teams. But I don't want to, like we talked about before. We don't want to bet bad
Hmm.
like teams.
Matchups,
So it was
yeah,
kind of like a force type deal. So I'm gonna skip this. As a fan, we want the Rams to win because we want that top three pick.
yeah.
Are
It's an
we?
interesting place here with that line being where it is, 2.5 for Saints, and it seems like New Orleans really believe in Andy Dalton
I guess
because
so.
Jameson is just sitting on the sideline as a fan. So this total seems a little low to me. I would add that third team teaser and go over
To
29 and a
29
half
and a half.
for
Really?
sure.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm,
Absolutely. I mean, what are we going to say? It's going to be a 17-7 game? It can't be.
mm.
They'll be at a score here. So getting over 29, I think, is good inside of a dome. I think the Rams are coached a little better and figure out how to work around Cooper Cup.
Hmm.
Probably lean more on a run game. Uh, so yeah, I would lean that over 29 and a half.
So Blue City Empire Sports says Beckham will be visiting the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys after Thanksgiving. He'd be smart to go back to New York. They could use him in New York. That's where he started. That's where he should go. You ain't gonna get nothing in Cowboys. Tell you that right now.
I mean, for him, it's probably best to go back to New York with the field. I mean, if you want to talk about health wise, he's coming off the ACL injury. I mean, weather wise, you get warm weather in Dallas, right, for the rest of the season. For the most part, you're inside of a dome. Then when you worry about going to the Giants, you got to worry about being outside in the cold, but your own
Hmm.
natural field. Is it natural field in New York, or is it both turf? If it's both turf, then
I'm
I would
not
go to
sure.
Dallas. I can't remember. I thought it was natural grass in New York, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just thinking about his injury. I think I think them turf fields are deadly to players' knees. I know there's
Yeah.
reports been going around for years. They always continue to sweep that under the rug. These field changes week in and week out for these players and these non-contact injuries is happening because a lot of it's happening because of our athletes are one playing and training year round now. Um, but at the same time, these turf fields are just too soft. I've been saying that for years. So I would avoid those turf fields if I was him, especially as my home field.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And then the other side of that with Dallas and Texas is, the taxes are better, obviously from a salary standpoint. So,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know,
Tax free, right?
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, next game we got the Cleveland Browns traveling to Buffalo. Buffalo is favorite minus 7.5. Total is 49.5. This game has been moved. I forget where it was moved to off the
Detroit.
top of Detroit. Yeah, it was moved to Detroit. So no really home
So
field advantage.
I'm gonna
But
pause. Sorry about that. Cross that over 29. Add this Buffalo over 30
no,
39.
yeah, that was my play. Yeah, that was my play. That's where I was going. Nice little nugget here. Cleveland Browns games, league high 7-1-1 over the total this year.
Yep.
So when you face Cleveland, you put up points, and I think Buffalo's going to put up a lot of points here. Easily, I could see Buffalo scoring over 35 points in this game. We thought that something was going to be wrong with Allen with that. Was it UCL or whatever ligaments in the elbow.
Hmm.
We thought that he was going to be hampered, and it seemed like he was Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The one thing about Allen though that people don't know is he's really turnover prone. He's up there and leading the league in picks and
Yeah.
turnovers. So it should give Cleveland some
Some
some um
opportunity.
some
Yeah.
support here, some opportunity here. And then from a player prop standpoint, you can't. It's almost auto bet. You can't go wrong with Chubb. I mean, he's had like 100 yards rushing in like 7 out of the last 8 games. And actually, actually, Buffalo has been susceptible to the run. They've given up. They've given up almost 300 to 400 yards in their last 3 or 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. So you
Hmm.
can team me up, Nick Chubb here, to continue to have his monster role here. He scored 6 touchdowns in the last 4 games. He scored in every game this year except for two. So you can tee him up for a touchdown as well. And then if you look, I said Buffalo. Looking at the last game against the Vikings, Cook had 120 yards. Against the Jets, Michael Carter had 76 yards. Who the hell is Michael Carter? Against the Packers, Aaron Jones had 143 yards. Against the Chiefs, and
Right.
Chiefs not really running, but I mean, if you look at these players, those got the two that I mentioned that are on the upper echelon of running backs, and now I get the best running back in the league, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Yeah, man, lock me in for Nick Chubb over his 74.5 yards. I think that's easy money right there.
Yeah.
And then I like that over too as well. I have that in a 10 point teaser, teasing that down to 39. That's another easy. That should be if you have a 10 point teaser or any teaser, that teaser should be in every teaser you have. That total.
The total, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
total. Yeah.
I like the I actually like I like Buffalo here. I think this is a big bounce back for them. Majority of why they're losing is self inflicted. A lot of it
I don't
comes
know,
from
man. It's
Josh.
been a couple times. It's been a lot, man. I thought they might have a chance to win it all, but they are not clutch. Like he has good spots and he shows up, but when it's really tight, when they need him, he hasn't delivered. The only time I think he delivered was in that playoff game against KC, and they needed to score, and he kept scoring, and they just couldn't outscore KC. But any other time, like especially this year, I think it's been what twice or two, three times when the ball's been in his hands, and he's floundered, he's flopped.
Well, I mean, I
Not
think
saying
that
he's not a bad player or anything like that, but some people just in no crunch times don't show up, and I'm starting to see that with Allen.
I mean, he just don't forget, just last week he came back and put him in scoring position to possibly win the football game. He got him in a tie the game.
He fumbled
Um,
at the goal line, dog.
what I'm saying is what I was saying from the original. I was saying I think a lot of Buffalo's issue has been self-inflicted. A lot of it has happened mainly because the hands of Josh Allen has been
Yeah, you
super
don't gotta talk to
aggressive.
me like I'm a young boy, yo. Don't do that.
No, I'm saying because you were going on Allen about not being clutch. I'm not saying that Allen's not being clutch. I'm saying that he has been a main cause of a lot of the
I understand what you're
is more
saying, bro.
self-inflicted. Is that
But you,
which can be rectified. I think he needs to be
you
reined in. I think the coach needs to rein him in. I think his got a little bit big. He feels like he's untouchable. He's been making these bad throws in the red zone, and that's been kind of affecting him. And all you do is continue to see him turn around after he throws an interception at the 20-yard line. Just like, what am I doing? So hopefully, well, I don't really care if he changes or not. I'm saying that I think it's easier for that change to happen because it's self-inflicted by one person.
Don, he ain't
Um,
teaching me shit. He trying to be smart. He trying to be slick because he got a monotone. He kind of cool right now. If we was in
Now that
person, it'd be a
you
different
hear him like
story.
this, he definitely like cut me
You,
off twice about killing Josh
what you
Allen.
what you kind of came. You was like, let me say this slow for your dumb ass.
You took
That's
it that
what
way. I didn't say that. But
you were like,
Don, teach
what
him
am I gonna
something. I'm
say?
trying to teach him. I do. But yeah, going back to this game, I like Buffalo here. I think they blow out Cleveland here. I don't think Cleveland has a chance. This is a rectifying game for Buffalo. This is really a must win for them. Get off. They can't lose three in a row. So I like them a lot here in this spot. If you can buy a point to get it to 6.5, so you got to worry about the 7-point win. Um, I would go Buffalo, and I look at Josh Allen probably to be a little more conservative in this game. So I don't know what his totals is. Is it close to 300?
Let me check real quick. The wrong game. My bad. Um, yeah. So it is 276.
276. So yeah, that's about for a Josh Allen game. That's
That's
pretty
about right.
conservative for me. Yeah. So I would
Yeah.
stay lean away from that. But maybe you want to look at over his touchdown uh, passes.
It
It
was
should be
1.5 at
yeah.
plus 172, I
I
think it
would
was.
love over 1.5.
Yeah,
I mean, just the
172.
values there if it's on the plus side to get him over 2 touchdowns scoring.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense because especially we think this game is going to be high scoring. Um, unless he gets a rushing touchdown, which is very likely because they can't run the ball. I don't
Hmm.
Singletary is not it. So I would even like a Josh Allen score here as well. Cleveland plays a lot of zone, and Diggs is just a target magnet. He's going to get a lot of catches, but I like Allen's touchdown here. And it's crazy. I saw this kind of weird stat that Cooper's split from home and away has just been terrible. So I would be down on all Cooper Cup um, yardage catches just because of the trend of his split. But total receptions, Diggs is yeah. See, Diggs is at 7.5. It's just ridiculous. Like
I'm
it's
really interested in here seeing who's going to be in the stands. I know it was over 50,000 seats sold that short period of time. I wonder is that going to be more Cleveland fans than Buffalo fans? I would assume Cleveland, right? Because Cleveland's only about 2 hours away, hour away.
Yeah, I mean Detroit's away too. So you think of some Detroit people just want to see a game, see a good team play?
I don't know. That's weird. Are you doing that? No, fuck that. I'm not going no goddamn. If they're playing here in Philadelphia, I don't give a fuck about Cleveland. I'm not going no game there.
Next game. All right, we got the Raiders and Denver Broncos. Denver is favorite -2.5. No, this is on my third leg. I'm going under team total here. I'm not team total, older total here. I'm teasing up to 51.5. These offenses are terrible. I know Denver's coming off a bye, but no Judy. I forget who was the other guy. KJ Hamler or Hamilton. I forget his last name.
Hamler.
He Hamler, yeah. He's out as well. Las Vegas is just Adams at this point, and you can sprinkle in some Jacobs in there, but he's going against a good rushing defense in the Denver Broncos. So Russell had a good game against them the last time they played. But that was with Judy and Hamler on the field, and now he really has nobody on that field, and he's just been terrible all this year. And I think they're. I got to look at the note, but I don't know if they won a game at home, which is crazy to think and say about a Denver team because they're typically good at home, but I'm not
Nate,
sure. I think
are we really talking about this game? Is this a game we're gonna die on, or live? Like we're not betting this game.
you see that, Don? You see how he cut me off like that?
I
He
had
just
to get my cutoff back. To get it back. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't gonna waste y'all time.
We gonna waste our time.
Raiders.
All right.
2-7 and a 3-6 Raiders.
Okay.
Game.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough.
Nobody knows what's gonna happen in this game. We don't know. Russell ain't made that show.
I know this. I know they ain't gonna score 50 points.
We had Derek Carr crying last week. Like, come on.
He called him Derek Carr. All right. Here's probably a game of the week here.
Let's get to it.
Oh no, actually not the game of the week, but I think that Chargers KC game might be. But this is up there. Dallas Cowboys traveling to Minnesota. I'm sorry, Dallas is favorite -2.5. This line was at 2.5, I think, and it's getting bet down. Total is 48. I got two plays in here that I do like. I do like the total over. And I think you can take that straight.
And talk about how last week you thought I was crazy when I said Minnesota. I just want you to. I want the viewers to know that you did kind of.
What are you talking about?
Last week about Minnesota. Now you were saying that Minnesota's a bad team. I was saying that blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like we talked about it.
Right, Don. He tripping today, dog. Like, wow. Did he?
He
come on the show late and this thing is the start.
I just want to throw it out there. Don listened last week. I said Minnesota is an opportunity for Minnesota here playing the Bills, and they outright.
What are you talking about? We talked about the money line. We both. I wasn't on Buffalo.
You was on something last week that
I was on the Vikings.
It was something else.
Yeah, well, get your shit together. Yeah, you look back. Look back. Yeah, you find that shit. You ain't find none. All right, let's get to the game.
USC is definitely making the playoffs now that they won last week.
USC can make the playoffs. Yeah,
they will.
Yo, what do you think about him as a I forget his name, quarterback, as a not MVP, as a Heisman candidate at this point?
Yeah, I mean, last night put him into the race for sure. He had 5 bills last week. I mean, yesterday.
He looked sharp too, man. That ball was zipping.
Yeah,
out of his hand.
I think it was an opportunity for him to kind of get his name out there. Primetime television, a game that was going back and forth. They were down, they were up, they were down. Yeah, it was a good story for him to get into the race, for sure.
Okay, so I think Elliott's back, which I think neither here and there. I actually think that hurts Dallas's team actually from an offensive standpoint. I don't know why they keep thinking Zeke is still Zeke, but I do like 2 plays in here. I know Jefferson said Jefferson is going to play. He is hampered, but I do like over CeeDee Lamb here, 79.5 yards. I mean, it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a lot of passing. The Minnesota Vikings defensive line against the run has been middle of the pack here, so I don't expect a lot from Pollard or Zeke, whoever gets the call here. But I do expect CeeDee Lamb to have a good game here. I even like him getting close to 100 yards here. If you're thinking Dallas is going to win, that means somebody's going to have to do well here, and this has been the guy for them. This has just been the guy for them, especially with I forget what's boy's name. I don't know why. I have a hard problem remembering Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Dak.
Were you
Dak.
back?
Yeah, Dak. with Dak back there, it's his go-to number one receiver. Gallup hasn't shown anything, and even though the tight end Swartz is somewhat decent, I do like CeeDee Lamb here to get 100 yards as a kind of extra pick here. It's 2-1, and a high-scoring game that should be a high-scoring game. I do like that, and then believe it or not, this front on the Dallas Cowboys have been susceptible to the rush. So I like Cook heating up here and continue to stay hot. He is the lion's share. As you can see in this prop, it's only Dalvin Cook and nothing else. Give me Dalvin Cook over his rushing prop as well at 79.5 yards. I believe he gets loose as well. And I think he has a good game as well. So those are my three plays actually on this game. The total over and CeeDee Lamb over his his receiving yards, and then Dalvin Cook over his rushing yards. We're sticking with the stars here in this game.
Yeah. The line's telling me Dallas to be a favorite coming off a loss, going
Yep.
away to Minnesota. We all know how hard it is to play in Minnesota. And for the Dallas Cowboys to still be favorite, I feel like you got to say Dallas. But fuck it, man. I can't. I got to take the home team with the points. I'm just going. If I lose, I lose.
Two
If I die, I
two
die.
tears in the bucket, fucking, huh?
Right. If I die, I die. Give me Minnesota money line at home. I think those what do they call them? Skull crowd. They'll be really live there.
Mm-hmm.
The line just didn't make sense. But I'm going to just take the plus money here.
Home
This
dog.
is for the value.
Yeah.
Minnesota's a tough team. They fight. They scrappy. I think that's why it's so scary, because it's like you just don't know what you're going to get out of Minnesota. Besides, they just keep winning somehow. Dirty games. Dallas
Yeah, they do.
is inconsistent. They don't stick to anything. So that's their problem. They have no identity. It's like, okay, when we had Rush in here, we run the ball, we were winning games. Now Dak, they's like, oh, I gotta drop him back 50 times, and just because he's a nice toy, but they have no identity, and this is why they lose. So
So
give
to
me
even
Minnesota.
to support yours and then even support some of my plays, Minnesota's the last undefeated team at home in the league. Is something I wrote down that's even
That's
supporting
why it's
Minnesota.
scary to me. But fuck it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot about Minnesota over time, is that Minnesota has a home advantage, whether they've been
For
outside
sure.
of University of Minnesota, whether they're in a different building, whether they're in the new stadium, they just have a home advantage. So that's one nugget to what's your take, and the one to help my take in terms of the rushing yards and Dallas scoring touchdowns. Um, the Cowboys have allowed over 200 yards rushers in back-to-back games. That's the ninth time in history that's happened. They're allowing 447 rushing yards over the span, and then that which tees up Dalvin Cook to have over his total, and then 72%. Listen to this: the opponents against the Minnesota in the red zone have scored 72% times. So if Dallas gets in the red zone, they are more likely to score, and that's the second highest rate in the league. So even to support our initial thought of the total of going over 48 in that one play, if Dallas gets in the red zone, they're scoring. Pretty much having that high of a clip, 75%. That's pretty telling from a stat standpoint.
With
But
that
I
being
like
said,
all. Go ahead.
I would add Kirk Cousins
Team
to throw an
totals.
interception in this game.
Let's look at that real quick. I know we're getting tight on time here, so we'll make sure we'll get everybody here out early. Kirk Cousins minus 130 to throw a pick. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all. All right. Next game. I only think we got 2 more games to go. I don't know if we got a lot on this one. Cincinnati traveling to Pittsburgh. Cincinnati is favorite minus 3.5. Total is 39.5. I believe the Bengals are coming off a bye here. Kenny Pickett, I got to check this, but I don't think he's thrown like a touchdown pass in like a couple games here. So I think this line is really short for me. Coming off a bye with Cincy, I know Chase isn't back, but I don't think this game is going to go like the first game at all. Obviously, ending in a tie. in the first game. Obviously, Pickett didn't play in that game. TJ Watt does obviously is a difference maker from a defensive standpoint, so you have to be worried about him, especially against an offensive line of Cincinnati that hasn't done well what we thought they were going to do from a better standpoint. But I'm having a hard time not thinking that Cincy's not going to roll here, and I don't like Cincy at all because I think they're wishy-washy from a team perspective. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Pittsburgh. Obviously, going to be cold. I don't know if it's going to be snowing or not. I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how Cincinnati lose here, and I would tee them up in a teaser. I would tease up this total too, to almost 50 points. But I like Cincy here straight up at -3.5. I think that's a strong play, and I do like TJ, not TJ, Higgins, T Higgins, the score here as well at +70. Once again, I'll give my team my same game parlay for anytime touchdown score at the end. But I do like T Higgins to score here. But yeah, give me Cincinnati here straight up, man. I like the -3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I like your take here. I do like the teaser with Cincinnati, get them into the plus side, just in case some fucked up shit happens. Sometime,
Yeah, they're
you
just so they're so hit or miss at
yeah,
times. But Pittsburgh, they just can't score.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean, I think
Like even the team
both.
total at 17. Like, do you think they get the 17? Like, I don't know. I don't think Pittsburgh can score 17 points.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I think that since their run game has been so trash,
Hmm.
this is what's making Pittsburgh, such a take where you can look at that under there, especially against Cincinnati. We know that if you can run the ball against Cincinnati, you have success.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh can't run the football right now, so
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, exactly.
I definitely like your take here. Maybe team total under 17. Let's see when the last time they scored. They beat the Saints 20 points, 13-10. Yeah, so it
But
looks
it's
like 20
crazy.
points has been the most
They beat
they
the
scored.
Saints without Pickett throwing a touchdown. Like, you know what I mean? And the Saints are
Hmm.
like they're a bad team. I was looking at the rushing yards for they don't even have his rushing yards. I would think Pickett, if you can find Pickett's
And
rushing yard prop, would be a good play.
to give you this, don't forget this is the first game of the season they played Pittsburgh, and oh boy threw 3 interceptions um, to Pittsburgh.
Who
Remember that?
who Burrow?
Burrow. Remember that first
Yeah,
week? First week he came out and
yeah,
just gave that game away, and they
threw
set an
picks. Yeah,
opportunity for them to win. So yeah, I do like this is a comeback game. I think coming off a bye, he had a lot to think about. He has to. I like Joe Burrow here at -3.5. I
yeah,
think they
I do.
I think they handle the business.
And then Harris had his best game of the year last year with almost 100 yards. I don't see them replicating that success. It was a good spot for them coming off a bye. I think home a division opponent coming back home, you would think it's a good spot. TJ Watt's going to be there, so he does make a difference. But this offense is just bad, and sooner or later, I think since he gets it going, just too much offense going against a bad team. It's a shame because I'm a big Tomlin fan, but it is what it is. All right, so that's the games of the week there, everybody, from a betting perspective. We're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna take it, get you guys out of here a little bit early. I know
Did
we
we
usually
miss
go a little bit
2
long.
games? I think, or maybe I missed it.
Nah, nah.
KC Chargers, you got already?
Oh, okay. I'm thinking that's the Monday night game. My fault. The San Fran. Okay, so we got two games here. Probably game in a week. I would say here, night game, Sunday night game. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers. KC is favorite -5.5. Total is 52.5. I believe Allen and Williams are going to be back from this game for this game. They said that they've been practicing all
Yeah,
week. I
they'll
know
play about
Allen's
a they'll
probably
play about a quarter.
yeah, right. Allen is back on a snap count. I know Juju's out with a concussion, and I think Harmon is out. So going to be a lot of people on Tony. Um, Kadarius Tony, and I think it's okay, even though there's going to be a lot of people on Kadarius Tony, because what we've seen here, I looked up this stat too here as well. Kelsey, they usually put James on Kelsey, and Kelsey's only scored maybe twice in the two times that they played with Derwin James on him. So Mahomes is going to have to find a way to keep this passing attack open. So this is why you see a lot of people from names you don't really see too much, from Watson to Sky Moore to Noah Gray, the McKinnon on these player prompts, because I believe they're going to need them. Even Marquez Valdes Scantling up there as well.
Mhm.
So Kadarius Toney makes a lot of sense. I just can't trust him, even though he had a good game last game. I think they're going to try to get him the ball, obviously. But the one person I think, well, you could look to here is Jerick McKinnon. They've gone to was it Isaiah Pancho? I think his last name is.
Yeah.
I forget his. From the running back perspective. So, but he's never on the field. He's not even up here. He's never on the field for passing downs. It's really just McKinnon that's on the field for passing downs. So in a game where it could get pass happy really quickly, I like Jerick McKinnon here over his receiving prompt. He's getting 6 to 7 almost catches a game out of the running back position. So I think this is a good play here for 25.5 over. I think that's a little bit low. I could see him getting almost 40 yards receiving in this game. And then I also like Herbert over his passing yards, getting his two guys back. Eckler, scores all the time, but doesn't have that much rushing yards. He's still getting a boatload of receiving. And Herbert showed me something, man. Even without those guys being out, he's still throwing, for like 275 to 300 yards almost every game. So getting those guys back just makes even more sense to me. Um, yeah, give me I like Herbert here to have over his passing yards. I think this is a 300-yard game for him.
Wow. Yeah, man. With all them injuries to Kansas City, I'm a little nervous, man. So I don't know. I don't really have a take on this yet.
You can put honestly, you know what we do here? We put them in a 10-point teaser. They don't lose.
Kansas City.
They don't no, the Chiefs. I mean the Chargers.
Okay.
Plus 15.5, plus 15.5. They don't
I
lose
mean,
by
they have though.
touchdowns.
They have multiple times this year. That's why I'm a little nervous. If somehow Kansas City is clicking and they can't stop Kansas City, then it can become a two-score victory for them. So that's why I did look at like, damn, do I go that way? Do I go to Kansas City and get them on the plus side? That's why I'm kind of like a little, kind of like,
Yeah, I
man,
mean, yeah, they lost to the Jags
yeah,
38 to
a couple,
10, and then
just one, a couple games.
that was it. That was it. I mean, it didn't cover, right? Like it was all that matters of covers. They lost to the Seahawks 37-23, but they wouldn't have covered that 15.5. Love that hook, baby. You know what I mean? So it's only been one game. I take it, baby. I take it. I take
Wait,
it.
wait a minute, wait a
Well,
minute.
14.
Okay.
That's 14 because it was
Mm-hmm.
37-23. So they lost by 14 in that
And they
game.
lost. Okay. Okay.
And then they lost to the Jags early in the year.
All
I
right.
think
I mean,
that was,
yeah.
yeah. And that was when everybody went out. I think Mike Williams got hurt that game.
You wouldn't
Allen was
go
out for the
Kansas City
game.
over 7.5 with that, or I guess it'll be what?
I like the Chargers in this game.
You like the Chargers? Okay.
I like the Chargers in this game, so that's why I'm backing the Chargers.
Got you. Got you. I got to check. Let's look at the team totals, and then we'll be
Yeah.
straight.
All right. Yeah. So we get the Monday night game. We get everybody out of here.
Team total 28.5, 23.
I like the Chargers 23.5. Like I'm on the Chargers. Like I like the Chargers, so I'm gonna back the Chargers
Okay.
and the
I'm
play.
off this game right now. I'm rooting
Mm.
for the Chiefs, but now that you're rooting for Chargers,
Man, you
I hope
you keep
hope
rooting
you
for
get
the
it.
Chiefs. Yeah. No,
No, I
root for the
mean
Chiefs. Because
this is a tough.
you know what I mean. You know what? You root for the Chiefs. You root for the Chiefs. You know how we do when we go head to head. Loser.
To win. I mean, the line scared me a little bit. That 5.5, little tricky.
Scared money don't make money, did he?
So hopefully I'll make my money early in the day, and then
Mm-hmm.
that can be a little icing on the cake.
All right. All right, let's get everybody out here on the Monday night game. We got the 49ers going to Arizona. Total is -8.5. I'm sorry, spread is -8.5. Total is 43.5. That line tells me no Murray, is what that tells me. Colt McCoy is going to get the start. He is 3-1 starting for the Arizona Cardinals. I'll tell you
Right.
that. So I don't really have a side in this game. I mean, we know Ertz got hurt. He's out for the season. Debo they're still trying to find what San Fran is. Only thing I know is that Arizona does pretty well against outside receivers. So, Brandon Ayuk, I don't see could be having a good game. And then there was the emergence of Elijah Mitchell last week for San Fran. So there's just so many mouths to feed with San Fran. We have to figure out, whose day is it going to be. But I tell you what, the one thing I do know is that so far with McCaffrey being here, he is getting not getting, but he has run on their passing play 70% routes. So that means for every time there's a pass play, pretty much CMC is on the field. So I would be looking for his receiving, just in case you don't want to mess with Elijah Mitchell. I like McCaffrey over his. Let me see where his. They don't even have receptions up, do they? No, they don't. They don't even see total receptions yet. Not because it's Monday night game, but I would be leaning over McCaffrey, 36 and a half receiving yards. I just don't. Kittle was on a tear and then he just disappeared. We know who Debo is, but they still haven't found how to use Debo kind of really yet. And McCaffrey is being the workhorse, as
Nate,
from a
who
what's
is
up?
that? Who are you saying? Who's that player?
What play? What are you talking about?
You said McCaffrey.
Did I say McCaffrey? Christian McCaffrey?
Who the hell is McCaffrey?
Oh, motherfucker! I'm my bad. I'm just talking. I'm saying I gotta catch myself. Did I say McCaffrey?
You
McCaffrey.
kept
I'm
saying
sorry.
McCaffrey. I'm like, who the fuck is McCaffrey? I never even heard of a last name called McCaffrey.
All right, you know what, man? Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Give me the play, dog. What you got on this
Hey
shit?
man, listen,
What you got?
listen. Give me the Niners.
I'm thinking about somebody I know, McCaffrey. I'm thinking about like
I don't think you know any McCaffreys.
I do know some McCaffreys. So yes, I do actually.
How you spell that? How you spell
How,
McCaffrey?
how do you? That's a
I
dumb
don't. I
question
never
to
seen
ask
nobody named
me.
McCaffrey. It sounds crazy coming off your mouth when you were saying it. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah,
But nah, let me.
McCaffrey. I'm sorry,
Thank you, McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
disrespecting that man, Christian
CMC.
McCaffrey.
I'm just gonna say C. I ain't gonna pronounce him. CMC. I'm
Thank,
just gonna
please.
give
That
letters.
sounds much better.
All right, we're gonna call you BD. Diddy.
All right, I
By the
like the
way,
Niners,
pause.
man. This is a neutral field game. It's going to be an elevation, though. A little tricky. Then they're going to Mexico City, right? So this is a Mexico City game. They haven't been there in a little bit. Elevation, so we're probably going to have to see. We might see a little bit of tired legs out there. I would look at San Fran first half. I think that's probably the play. Then that 8.5. Get that to like what? Maybe 4.5 in the first half. The
Probably.
tricky thing about Colt McCoy is that he gets the ball out pretty quick.
Yeah, 4.5.
Yep. So he gets the ball up pretty quickly. Obviously, we know defensive for San Fran 49ers can be really stout. So I think it won't be like it was last week where he was kind of getting that ball out, making pinpoint passes. I think they'll be able to get on him a little bit more. Colt will kind of he will struggle a little bit. Probably lean on heavy on Connor too. So maybe look at Connor props. But I like San Fran first half. That's my play here.
Okay. Yeah, I just have like I said, I just have the one play with CMC for receiving
Thank you.
yards.
Thank you. I'm tired of
Christian.
disrespecting that man.
I didn't even know it was McCaffrey. I mean, I don't even know why. He said, I don't even think you know McCaffrey. Motherfucker, I know McCaffrey. But CMC over his 36.5 yards. All right. So those are the plays of we have from a player prop from size perspective. So hope everybody got that, got some of those lines here. Before we get out of here, I'm going to make a quick same game touchdown parlay. Get you guys a quick parlay little play here, and then we'll go. If you're still with us, you still made it all the way through the end of the show. Please make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that follow. We appreciate all the support that we get. Like I said, it does magic on the back end. So
Which one? This is
go
an
ahead.
anytime touchdown. I like this. Let's run
Yeah,
through it.
anytime touchdown. So I'm going Andrews. He is playing today. He's just his guy. And like I was saying before Diddy cut me off, go follow MoneyPot Podcast on YouTube.
Sure.
And then I'm going Gibson.
Did he score last week?
I believe so.
You like Gibson over Robinson in that anytime touchdown?
I do.
Damn it. Okay.
I do. And then we're gonna go.
Eagles.
Nah, I don't know who's gonna score on the Eagles. To be real
I'm
with you.
talking about the Colts. It was JTT over there.
Oh, JT. Yeah, I'm not playing that. Fuck them. Where was I looking? I like Nick Chubb. Just makes so much sense, right? And then I'm gonna go.
Dak Prescott.
Did you say Dak Prescott?
That's gonna be some nice juice there.
Yeah. I was thinking it's either Cook or CD. What you got?
Cook
I'm
or
gonna go
CD.
CD. Yeah.
I don't trust CD, so that's on you. I don't trust CD Lamb, so it's just one of my things.
It's one of your things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like the Saquon touchdown. Yeah, Saquon. Yeah, I don't know why you're getting these. Like, get some of these running backs.
And then my last one would be we going T Higgs.
Dang.
T Higgins.
I don't know, B.
You don't know B?
I don't know, B.
I like it.
This is a tough one. This is a tough cookie.
Nah, that's money in the bank.
Okay.
Only shaky one is Gibson. Shaky one is Gibson.
Everybody, you got a couple
Well,
shaky.
CD is minus 110 to score. He's not even. He's like, you know what I mean. He's not even plus money. He's minus 110.
What's Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley.
Oh yeah, you better clean that up.
Don said you going broke.
Who? Man, Don know what you're talking. Don. I made Don some money, so Don, you bet. Easy. All right, go ahead. Hurry up so I can get us out of here by 11:30. You got Saquon. Who else you going?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
See, I ain't a greedy fella. We're gonna go Saquon.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna go over to Cincinnati.
Okay.
We're gonna get whatchamacallit in there. Who's the running back for Cincinnati?
Mixon.
We're gonna keep him going. I know he had foul the other night. We're gonna follow that up.
Yeah.
All right.
And then come on.
And then we're gonna go. Go to the Bills.
Josh Allen.
We're gonna need some plus money over here. Give me Josh Allen to score.
I like Josh Allen. I was thinking about that. 6-1 so far.
3.
There you go. I like it.
620. Yeah, I ain't too greedy.
Yeah,
Josh Allen's the only one I got to worry about.
I think he might score more than any other guys. To be real with you, out of Saquon, not Shake. What did you say?
I said Saquon.
You corrected it the second time. The first time was a little shaky, boss.
I said Sicafferty. Sicafferty. Who is that?
Yeah. All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody for joining here for the MoneyPot Podcast. Like I said, if you guys are still with us, if you're still following, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, go follow MoneyPot on YouTube. We will be dropping our teasers and everything on our stories and our shorts. Appreciate everybody. We always have a good time, man. Got to get out of here. We got another show coming behind us at 11:30. So stick around for A2D Radio. They're doing another preview of the Eagles versus Indy game. This is Moss Money. That is B Diddy. As always, may the gambling gods protect you today, and let's get this money. We out of here.
Like and subscribe for sure.
I'm gonna go call my friend McCafferty right now.
No.
We out.
Oh my God!
Embarrassed!
You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.